Somewhere between the endless notifications, the pressure to optimize every second of your day, and the creeping sense that we're always just a little bit behind, something has started to shift. I've seen more and more people leaning into the idea of slow living. And this is definitely something that I intend to focus on and study a little bit more in 2025. In 2025, slow living isn't just about sipping herbal tea and journaling in a sunlit corner, although if that's your vibe, then go for it. It sounds kind of nice. It's about something deeper, though, a conscious rebellion against the burnout culture that we've all been conditioned to accept. It's about reclaiming your time and your energy, and most importantly, your attention. Embracing slow living might just be the most radical thing that you could possibly do. And doing so doesn't mean that you're not being productive. It doesn't mean that you're doing everything at a snail's pace. It just means that you're doing things more intentionally. It's really a practice of tuning into what truly matters and letting go of the excess, kind of like minimalism is for your space. So think quality over quantity, depth over speed, and occasionally presence over productivity. For me and so many others, slow living in 2025 is becoming a necessary shift in the way that we approach work, technology, and everyday life. So today I'm going to share 7 slow living habits that I'm going to be focusing on in 2025, and I encourage you to consider doing the same. And I'm sure that this list of habits is going to evolve over the course of the year as I learn more and get a little deeper. The first thing I'm really focusing on is protecting my attention and savoring moments, especially the moments that I have with Chloe while she's so young. I want to be sure that I'm giving so much attention and intention to the time that we're spending together. So being present is something that I'm really actively working on this year. I've started to leave my phone and laptop upstairs when we go down for breakfast in the morning, and I'm noticing that that is making a huge difference in itself. That way I can be fully present with her instead of getting caught up in responding to whatever happens to be in my email inbox. It's a small shift, but it changes the whole tone of my morning. I become less reactive, more intentional. She starts her morning off better, and so we're both in a better mood, we're calmer, and it's also just not feeding the chaos first thing in the morning. I'm also working on creating more fall safes for when I can't be immediately available, or when I do need to do a deeper dive and focus on something else without being constantly distracted, so that I don't feel like I have to be on all the time. Things like auto replies, scheduled messages, and really just setting expectations in advance, those things can help me to unplug without the guilt. Maybe even having somebody who can take over things for me when I'm really needing to disconnect. So I want to focus on one thing at a time in 2025, whether that is a conversation, a task, or just enjoying a moment. Number 2 is embracing low-tech leisure. I spend a ton of time on tech. I work on tech. A lot of things that I just do in general in life are associated with tech. But I'm making more space for activities that really help me to slow down and disconnect. And I've been appreciating that time so much and just being present doing other things without digital distractions. So one of my favorite pastimes that I'm really getting to dig into this year, and last year a little bit, is reading fantasy books. I'm a big fantasy book fan. I love my Fourth Wing series. A new book just came out that I haven't had a chance to dive into, and I'm about to start digging into that one. I've already read the first 2 twice. I'm at the end of the series Kingdom of Glass. I've been enjoying the fantasy time and pulling myself away from everything related to business and real life and just enjoying that whole sinking into a good fantasy book. These are things that have always brought me joy, but I'm being more intentional about finding the time for them. Travel is another way that I'm slowing down. We're taking a trip to Japan coming up here pretty soon. And it's not just about sightseeing and hitting up the tourist spots for me. It's really about being present, reconnecting with things like beauty and culture and getting out of my own perspective and seeing a new place and exploring. This is something that has always been one of my really important core values is to explore and experience the earth while I'm on it. And so I'm resisting the urge to overplan so that I can really leave room to wander and explore and take things in without rushing. Number three is reconnecting with actual humans and community. This year, I want to be more intentional about nurturing relationships and really just being a little more socially active, both in person and online, instead of letting connection be something that just happens by chance. I had a really lovely conversation with my neighbor the other day about our bird feeders. I just happened to be outside playing with Chloe, and she happened to be going for a run, and she gets way more birds than I do. And she's also really great with plants. And so we just dug into this big conversation. I got a ton of insight. I went out and bought a couple of new things based on her experience that she shared with me. And it was so nice. It was nice to just stand outside and chat about something that isn't urgent. It wasn't, like necessary, but it was something that we shared an interest in and just having a real conversation. I've also expanded my network of online creators that I know over the past few months through the virtual summit I put on. One of my core purposes for doing that, aside from reaching the attendees and the people who needed the information, was for me to be able to connect with other people in and around my industry, to have a little more of a community online and not feel so isolated. I think that it's just really important. Number four is practicing unhurried productivity. I'm shifting my focus from doing more and just producing more and more. I found that there are a million ways to stay busy and a million ways to feel productive, but not all of those ways are actually impactful. They're not all impactful to me, they're not all impactful to my business, and they're not all impactful to the people that I create content for. So I'm working to prioritize doing work that I feel like is really making a difference, being impactful, moving the needle forward, instead of just feeling like I'm on this content creation hamster wheel. On a more micro scale, I'm also trying to prioritize using shorter but deeper work sessions so that I can really focus my energy on the projects that I'm working on at any given moment and go deep into those without feeling like, oh, I have to stretch this across the entire day and I have to keep staring at the computer and keep working even when I feel like I've gotten a little bit depleted and I'm not really able to create from a position of inspiration and real creativity. I've realized that the best ideas come when I give myself space to think, when I feel unhurried, unpressured, rather than trying to force productivity, which has always been a really negative experience and tends to give me far worse results. Number five is soulful, growth-oriented activities. It's not all just about work and tasks and getting things done and getting from point A to point B throughout the day. And growth doesn't have to be tied to really any kind of achievement. I'm exploring new ways to learn and expand just for the fun of it. So here lately, I've been learning Japanese. I've actually just recently passed 110 days of Japanese learning, and it's been both fun and really fulfilling. And even more enjoyable is that my 16-year-old jumped in and started doing it with me. And so now we have these little Duolingo competitions, and it just adds a little more fun to the mix for both of us. And it's really been a great way for us just to connect and spend time together. But it's easy to feel like every new skill needs to be productive or useful. Now, in this case, hopefully it's useful and I'm able to have at least minor conversations or get my point across while I'm in Japan. But I didn't have to learn that. I could have used the Google Translate app. I feel like this is just something that makes me feel more enriched and fulfilled and adds a little something to my experience of going to Japan. So whether it's a language or art or something completely different, I want to give myself permission to grow in ways that don't have a clear outcome attached to it. So that's where I am now, and I'm sure that this list is going to hone and expand and shift, and hopefully I'm going to get so many more amazing ideas as I really start diving into this whole world of slow living. But in general, I understand that slow living isn't just about doing less. It's about being intentional with how I spend my time. And by protecting my attention, making space for things that I just really enjoy doing, and connecting with other people who maybe enjoy doing some of the same things, I am really excited to bring a little more joy and focus into the year of 2025. And I'm not trying to get it perfect, just practicing and exploring and finding what feels right. I invite you to do the same, and I'll chat with you next week.